And we're back. It's ItsSMOGONdevo here with some more Twilight Cup footage for you guys. We're going to be continuing the early train of practice videos. Maul through a bunch of this, and then we'll start to move on to some other kind of content as well. So again, early lineups, we're going to be testing out some interesting picks. You'll see Sableye come up a few times here, as well as that Togekiss and a little bit of some Venomoth love, I believe. Let's go ahead and check it out. We'll jump straight into these battles and watch me choke on these charge move mechanics. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and lead with that Tyranitar. Trying out Sableye, I had no idea how to run it at this point. Just looking at this lineup, I am incredibly weak to Togekiss and possibly a Alolan Muck. But here we go, we actually lead Tyranitar into Tentacruel. Maybe it wasn't the Alolan Muck matchup versus Quill and Tentacruel I was thinking of. It might have been Tyranitar, but yeah, Tyranitar actually has a really good matchup versus Tentacruel. You win by just crunching. This is definitely not a Hydro Pump, so I'm going to let the AS come through. Makes a really good play and switches out into that Toxicroak, but I did have my own crunch ready. So now I can preemptively switch as well. And I'm going to go ahead and switch into the Togekiss after he took that crunch, and I should be able to knock him out before the Sludge Bomb comes out. There you go. He brings in Tentacruel now, and this is not the greatest position. A little bit of lag. As I noticed it, I stopped tapping. There you go, and I actually can get to my Ancient Power. Force a shield there. I'm not going to shield the Acid Spray coming in. I figured Togekiss has already done its job. It's taken out a mon and seriously crippled this Tentacruel. So I'll take that Acid Spray and allow my Togekiss to go down. Tyranitar's Tentacruel's basically gone anyways. These Smackdowns will definitely take it out. This would be a lovely time to actually have Stone Edge, just in case he has something weird in the back. I'm feeling good. I have Sableye in the back. Yeah, look at me just swinging around my finger there, trying to get the charge moves. I can do a ton of damage to him. I know I have Sableye in the back, so I don't really feel a need to burn the shield. I'll let the Avalanche connect, and then I'll bring in Sableye just to finish off this Frostlass. And I finish it off before it gets to a charge move. It looks like I was actually messing around with Shadow Sneak with Sableye at the time. So I go ahead and I lead the Alolan Muck with Sableye and Togekiss in the back, giving a lot of attention to Sableye this time around. I really wanted to try to make it work. I had just powered up my Lucky Shiny 98 Sableye, so I was really trying to fit it into some lineups here. I ended up completely ditching it and never touching it again by the end. We lead into his Haunter. I forget how this sims. But I think it is in our favor, so he actually decides to lead Croak, and I build up a little bit more energy here, and I go for the Acid Spray. Now I want to make a quick switch into Togekiss, anticipating his Mud Bomb. Looks like I was a little bit too slow on the draw there. I'm not going to shield because I want to save as many shields as I can for later. But yeah, Alolan Muck will go down, and then I can bring in Togekiss just to chip this guy down. Oh, I decided to bring in Sableye now that he's Acid Sprayed, so that my Shadow Claws can allow me to farm him down. A little bit of a questionable play, but I was really trying to make that Sableye work. I know this is a Mud Bomb coming, and I wanted to test out exactly how much damage it would do to Sableye. It's a lot more than I wanted it to. But now I knock out that Toxicroak, and I know he has that Haunter in the back. He brings in Azu, so I'll actually go for this Shadow Sneak. Get that first shield, and then I switch out really quick into Togekiss. I've got 2 shields, so this isn't the worst matchup to be in. And he brings in that Haunter. So I should just go straight Charms here. I do shield. I was thinking about it for a second, hopefully, or thinking about trying to win with that Sableye. I go straight away for the Ancient Power this time around. He doesn't shield it. Don't get the boost. Now he brings in Azu. What to do in this situation? I end up deciding not to shield, and I just take the play rough. So now I know he actually doesn't have Ice Beam though. I think at the time he was doing regional tournaments too, and he didn't want to TM his Azu, so he used a play rough Hydro Pump Azu, and it still keeps my butt. I still have a shield, but these bubbles are gonna do way too much. Maybe if I had shielded that Mud Bomb. Anyways, we go into the next match. I feel that Azu weakness, so I keep Venusaur in the back this time. leading with Togekiss and Sableye. So I lead the Togekiss into Alolan Raticate, probably one of the best matchups for Togekiss here. He's got to switch out right away. Goes into Haunter, and I have Sableye, so I'm going to love switching into this. You have to be mindful of the Shadow Ball coming in. I'm really stubborn though, and I don't always burn shields when I should. Pays off for me this time because I take that Shadow Punch. I figured he didn't have access to that Shadow Ball so quickly. Now I have a Foul Play ready to go, but I want to see what he actually switches in before I just fire off a move here. This is pretty awful for Sableye to be in. If I take a Crunch, I am done. But I can withstand these quick attacks pretty well, just as the Alolan Rat can withstand my Shadow Claws. So it's really just a battle of charge moves. Had I been a Power Gem Sableye, this might have turned out a little bit different. I do get that shield. And then I can get to another Foul Play. At this point, I really don't want to burn any shields on Sableye, I just want to chip down the rat as much as possible. But I can see he's farming up a ton of energy. And I'm going to let Sableye go down, because I know Togekiss can just crush this Raticate. I have a shield over him anyways, so I don't mind shielding this. I'm expecting the Hyper Fang, I don't see a reason why he wouldn't go for it, unless he had the energy to bait me. But yeah, he'll make that switch, and that's perfect for me. I bring in my Venusaur to his Azumarill. I know I can take an Ice Beam, and he actually doesn't have the Ice Beam anyways. I wasn't fully aware that he didn't have it, or else I wouldn't have burnt that shield, but yeah. Now that I know Play Rough came out, there's no way he has Ice Beam, and I can over-farm him a lot. I can't get these bubbles. But we knock out the Azumarill, and he has that shield. I go straight away for it. I go for a Sludge Bomb actually, which is a little questionable. Frenzy Plant would have been more energy efficient. He doesn't shield because he knows the match. It's pretty much over at this point with my Togekiss in the back. So jumping into the next one, we try to make that Venomoth Togekiss core work again. This time I slept Venusaur at the back, just to deal with Azzy, which does break this duo. So I lead into the Skuntank. This is not the best matchup for me to be in, and I actually don't really have an answer to Skuntank. I mean, I have Togekiss, which can do pretty well, but it's dicey depending on the move Skuntank carries. So I go for the Silver Wind, knowing this isn't a great matchup, hoping to draw a shield or do some Major Chip, and he actually decides not to shield. So because he didn't shield, I'm thinking that Venomoth might be able to do something for me later. So I'm trying to farm him down, and I'm just able to, which is great. Because he went Flamethrower, I knew that he was very low energy. And now I have another Silver Wind ready, so I can even up this playing field a bit. He goes Frostlass, and it does resist Silver Wind, which kind of sucks. A little bit of lag, but it's enough to still make him switch. This Frostlass is a good answer to Venomoth, so I'm not going to burn any more shields, but I'm hoping to get one from him at least. So I go for the Poison Fang bait. He does shield it. And then I can get to another one if I undertap, and there you go. Look at me finally getting these bubbles. Does a nice amount of damage to Frost. I've got a shield up, and a Venusaur and Togekiss in the back. I will definitely shield this incoming move. I'm not sure if he quite has 2 Avalanche, but I decided to switch to Venusaur, just in case, and luckily for me, I managed to waste all that energy. Avalanche comes out on Venusaur, and then Togekiss will come in and finish off the Frostlass with a Charm. Build up a little bit more energy there too, so that it's possible for me to actually reach an Ancient Power. But he has a Azumarill. Had I brought in Venusaur, did that shield, and then switch on Togekiss, this would have been much better for me. But I had no idea what he had in the back. Does a decent amount of damage, but one Ice Beam is going to flatten my Togekiss. Goes for the Hydro Pump, right, because it's a regional Azumarill. So he will take that matchup. I saw a few people actually running Ice Beam Hydro Pump here, which was kind of interesting. Yeah, so for the next match, we're actually going to go ahead and lead with this Alolan Muck. And keep that Venomoth and Togekiss in the back. So we lead into the Tentacruel, and again, I honestly don't remember if this is a positive matchup for Muck. I want to say it is, I know we both reach our acid sprays at the same time, and then he has to work a little harder to get to that Hydro Pump. So I actually just go for the Dark Pulse, hoping to make him, to force a decision on his end, or to take a large chunk from this Tentacruel, and I get that chunk. I have a strong feeling he's going for Hydro Pump, so I decide to take my shield here. And I do manage to block the pump, which is great. Now I can go for an Acid Spray, and if he's debuffed, Venomoth should be able to knock it out in a fast move. So I'm actually going to farm up a little bit more energy. I know this incoming move is an Acid Spray. There's no way he had time to get to that Hydro Pump. So I'm not going to block it. Instead, I want to build up some energy so I can threaten whatever comes in. And I do go for the Acid Spray. And he brings in Frostlass, so he kind of has to shield. It's a huge risk not going for the shield. And he actually makes that gamble, and he's able to get his Frostlass in with a nice advantage. But I can get to a second Dark Pulse now. So I will get the shield here. I should have just went Dark Pulse. Oh, whatever. Alright, there you go. My Muck goes down. Now I'll bring in Togekiss, and he's probably really close to 2 Avalanches at this point. But I'm hoping that Charm will knock it out just before he gets to it. But he already had it. So Togekiss is going to go down, unfortunately. But he still is debuffed, so this confusion damage will hurt. And now I'm 3 more confusions away from Silverwind. And he brings in the Skuntank, so this isn't the greatest for me. I'm trying to get some self-piggies, but get a little bit too carried away there. Flamethrower comes out and just decimates that Venomoth. Jumping into this battle over here, we're going to go ahead with that Togekiss lead and the Sableye and Umbreon in the back. Still messing around with these off-meta picks, the Sableye and Umbreon. 2 Pokemon that are pretty much part of every one of my Cliff teams, at least one of them. We lead into the Azu matchup. Not the best matchup for Togekiss. Out of all the Charmers, it has the worst Azumarill matchup. Or at least out of like Clefable, Wigglytuff, and Togekiss. Those 3. I do burn this shield, just because I want to burn a shield in return from him, so I go for this Ancient Power. And I'm actually pretty weak to Azumarill on my team right now, so I kind of have to just make the bluff, and I get that shield. I think I have to shield twice here if I want a chance to win, unless I'm trying to go for a crazy energy grind from Sableye or Umbreon. Yeah, it looks like that's the play I'm going to make. He goes Hydro Pump, wow. Now my Umbreon, or sorry, my Sableye. I picked the wrong Sableye, oh my goodness. Look at that CP. So I farm down the Azu with this pathetic Sableye, and then I go for a Foul Play. Try to get some chip. What's the CP on the Sableye? 821, oh my goodness, it's like level 20. Jesus. Get off another Foul Play here. Luckily, level does not factor into energy generation. And there you go, Sableye will go down. I probably could have gotten to another Foul Play, maybe even 2, had I actually used the correct Sableye. So he goes for a Crunch, which I did see through. And Umbreon's really tanky, so I know it can take a few charge moves. The Flamethrower is going to hurt, but not enough to threaten my Umbreon. Ooh, and he brings in Frostlass. I'm choosing to farm him up a bit, and I do have to burn a shield here. There's no way around it for me, unfortunately. But now I do have a Foul Play ready, and this will force his own shield. It should be... I forget what the count is. I knew it a little while ago. I think it's like 9 Powder Snow or something. 2 Avalanche. But I don't really want to risk it. I just go for a Foul Play right away. I know a Skuntank is in the back with very low energy, so I should be okay to get to a Last Resort. Even a Foul Play might kill at this range. Yeah, so I just go for the Foul Play. Get a nice amount of chip, rather, for the knockout on that Skuntank. And there you go, we take it, the Skuntank. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed another session of early Twilight practice videos. It was really cool to test out a lot of these early picks, especially Sableye and Umbreon. I really wish I could have made them both work, but there just seem to be so many better options out there. We're going to be continuing the trend of Twilight videos for the next one as well. I think it still is early picks. I see a Sableye on my team there, so yeah, you get to see some more Sableye love as well. Yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to that. It's going to be it for me for now. Leave a comment, drop a like, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time.